let's look at how to create and edit a Google Doc on an iPad. If you've ever used Google Docs on the computer, you will notice a few differences when moving to the iPad. So I've opened Google Docs. I've signed in with my school account. I'm going to go to the plus to create a new document. There are lots of pre-made templates, so if you wanted a specific format, a letter, a resume, you could go to the templates. I'm going to start with a new document. The first step is to title my document and select Create. Notice it brings me my keyboard and I can type. It also has predictive type right here, so if it thinks it knows what you're saying, it'll help you out a little bit. And I'm not going to do this now, but if you click on the microphone, and enable dictation will pop up. Then if you select your microphone and speak, it will type for you. You actually have to say the word period if you want a period, and question mark if you want a question mark. It won't be exact. You will probably still have to go in and make some changes, but it will save a little bit on the typing. So those are two ways to put information on a Google document. If I wanted to change the font, in other words, the typing, what it looks like, the formatting of it, I have to select ahead of time what I want to do, or if I type, I come in here and tap twice and it lets me select what I want to change. So just like when you're on a computer and you're looking to change the font, the computer doesn't know what you're talking about until you select what you're referring to. So here I picked the word type. I can change it to B for bold, undo it by tapping it again, italics, underline, the line through it, the strike through. This is my font color, or my text color. This is highlighter color. And then I move over to these justification tools. So left justified, something centered, and right justified. So again, I have to have it selected before I make the changes. That way it knows, the iPad knows what I'm looking to change. So I'm going to hit my return key and show you we have bulleted lists. When I hit return, it gives me a new bullet. I also, right up here, have numbered lists. And every time I hit return, it gives me a new number. If I hit return again, that number 3 goes away. These refer to my indentations, left and right, which don't apply to my document right now. Up at the top, I have an undo button and I have a redo button. They'll work for several steps. And then let's look at the plus. Plus means add or insert. So here are the things I can put in my Google Doc. I can put an internet link in here. I can put an image, either from my photos or one that I take. I can put a table in here. I can put in a horizontal line, page break, page numbers, footnotes. Bookmark means it would refer to a different spot on the page. So if I had a very long document and I wanted to put shortcuts at the top with bookmarks, I could do that. It also has the ability to create a table of contents for you. So these are all of the insert functions. Let's look at how to insert a link. So this is the text that I want my link to hook to. So let's say I want to go to Google. What's interesting is it found the link for me, but I could copy and paste a link in here where it says link. But I'm going to select Google and hit my checkbox. Anytime I see a checkbox, it means I'm done or okay. So that links to Google if I select it. I'm going back to my insert and I could say insert an image. And I could pick from my photos or my camera. One thing to be aware of is that when you put a picture in a Google Doc on the iPad, you don't have a whole lot of control over it. So we're going to select from camera. It wants access to my camera. So I'll take a picture and say use the photo. Notice when it pops it in here and I select it, I don't get these little handlers on the corner that I'm used to for being able to resize the picture. It's because it treats it as if it's a letter that you've just typed. So I'm going to delete that and show you a workaround on the iPad. I can insert a table, and maybe I want to make it 2 columns and 1 row. Then here I could go into the first one and say insert my image, and since I took that with my camera, it'll be in here, but I'll take it again. And again, I can pull from the photos already on my iPad. I just have to give it permission. So see how it gets kind of weird? Like it's very difficult to get in here and resize it. I can try that way. And then if I go over here in the second cell, I can say this is a picture. See how this is kind of tricky? For certain things, it's just easier to work on a computer. But in a pinch, you can insert an image into a Google Doc. You will find that if you use Pages, you will have a lot more control. So let me just hop out of here, go back to Insert, and again, I can draw a horizontal line and all of those other things we talked about. I'm going to go back to the top. This little A over here, this refers to my font. So if I have my font selected, so I'll tap that twice and come up here. Notice I have text and paragraph that I can change. These were my shortcuts that I saw before, except if you do subscript or superscript, they're here. The style means what heading style did you want to pick. For most things, it's normal text. I'm going back and selecting my font. Notice the only thing that changed is the font or the word I had selected. I can change font size, text color, highlighter color, or I can clear the formatting altogether. Under paragraph, this is where I have my justifications again. These are tools that I've already seen before, but notice I have line spacing in here, which is kind of handy. The last thing we'll take a look at is these 3 dots, which always means, look, there's more. This is where I can look and see what it would look like if I printed it, the print layout. I can look at the outline. Find and replace means if I wanted to find a word, like let's say I wanted to find the word to, I could search for that. And if I misspelled it and it should be T-O-O, I could do a replace there. Coming back over, Explore is a way to search the web for images and content within a Google Doc, which is nice. It's my own little search engine. There's word count, page setup. If I needed to change the margins, I could. And page color is here too. Oh, another one, notice the orientation was there, so portrait or landscape. I also have the ability to print from here, and your iPad will print to anything with an Air printer. So if I do share and export and I print it, it's going to prepare the document to print and look for an Air printer. And if I have access to one, it'll come up, and then I can select print. When I'm done with my Google Doc, I come up to this corner and I click on the check. If I go back out of my work and back in, if I tap twice in the document, it will let me edit, but I can click on the pencil and edit from there. Remember, Google Docs auto-saves, and there are some features like Google Drawing that you can't insert on here. This is a watered-down version of Google Docs, which works well for some things, but for other things it might be easier to move to a computer.